What's good? You rocking with your boy Czar, All Rights Reserved. What's happening? How's everybody doing today? Now, today's the day where I briefly talk about the Junior incident, and everyone, is sort of saying they're crying in court and different things. And that's part of why I wanted to hold off, because I wanted to see exactly how they were going to react. Now, my thing is about this, them in court crying and different things and kind of like feeling bad remorse from it. Who put the hit out for the boy they presumed? Now, my thing is, you got to understand the ideology behind mistaken identity. When you mistake someone's identity for something, you could say they look alike, but ultimately, a person that's known to do hits isn't going to make a mistake of that magnitude. I'll tell you why. Because not only do you expect a picture of who it was, but you also look at the whole situation around it. There were multiple men that attacked him. But what got me is that he was involved in a police academy of some sort. Okay, so he was involved. Who influenced this young 15-year-old boy to be involved in a police-related program? That's my first question. Who influenced them to do this? That's very important, because that literally will dictate exactly what the situation around what caused the incident occurred. Whoever his influences were was who his life was, let's say, a representation of. These many men ran down on him at the store, and like it was shown, he knew these guys were coming for him because he ran as he saw them. Why would he do this? Now, that brings up two new scenarios. Was he threatened underneath everything because the fact he was involved with a police-related incident? Was he doing something for the police? These are all questions we want to know, because usually police protect their own. I've seen it many times. They do it. Like, there's grown men covering for other grown men. So why wouldn't these grown men not be protecting someone that's in their team, like part of their force? If he's in a really bad area, and let's say he did allegedly expose any gang activity, would he not deserve the protection to do it? And I don't think he did. I honestly feel, if you want to know Czar Rights Reserve perspective, literally he's seen something he shouldn't have involving police. I repeat, he's seen something he shouldn't have involving police, not gangs. The reason I say it is because the level of their remorse. Were they tricked into going after someone who wasn't involved in what they thought they were? And when it gets to this level, that is why we want to know who called the hit. They're saying a video came out, that's why they hunted them. It's not that simple. Listen, if they were really going for people, and, allegedly this guy released the video, but he wasn't part of it. If they were going for people, why wouldn't you go for the people on the video doing the action to the little girl? A lot of it doesn't make sense in how war occurs. They would have had the pictures and face of the men doing the act before the guy behind the camera that released it. You'd be mad at who released it, but the first people you'd go for is who was in the video. Who were these guys in the video with the little girl, allegedly? And why would they go for this boy? Who gave them the bad information? It's all about information. We're in the information age. Being the level of information and how information is exchanged, there wouldn't have been a situation that would have involved anything that should have taken his life. You know what I mean? There's more to it. And the thing is, I believe it's not going to come out because, again, he was involved in a police-related incident. Some type of program, and the police weren't there for him. I want this situation to be very instrumental in helping other young men to make decisions. He was a minority. Is that why police weren't involved? If these men were chasing a Caucasian man, would the police not have shown up so readily? Would there have been some type of situation where they would have been on go for this guy right away? Because there was no help and assistance, and there was about 10 men that were involved in this. And now you're telling me these hardened gang criminals are crying on the stand because of what they did to the guy? The other alternative is they're not crying because of what they did to the guy. They're crying because they made a mistake and they know what's going to happen to them. You see, prison has a very specific system. Violating children and kids is a no-no. That's something you don't do. That's something that's harshly looked upon by higher-ups of every form of gang members. So the fact they did this can be pending doom for each and every one of these members, not only for the mistake, but there's no way there was an orchestrated hit by a gang on a child, let alone 10 men would be used to do it. He was a kid. It didn't take that many men to handle this. That's why I'm saying I feel whoever called the hit gave misinformation. Another thing you got to understand, a lot of officials, officers, and people in uniform behind the scenes give ultimatums and have connections to getting things done. So, especially gang members, some of them interact with it. A lot of them interact. Some of these officers that keep to their roots and still look cool will abuse their power behind the scenes to be respected by these type of guys. And it sounds crazy because they're on duty hunting a gang member, but they still want to be respected by one. They still want to have clout and have pull in the hood, even though that they chose a certain path. That's when we get to corrupt police and authority. That's what I'm trying to express to people, that most violence that occurs around the scenes, other than direct issues involved, if there's no type of answer, we need to start looking at authority. Who gave the hit? I do not believe a gang leader would give a hit to execute a kid. Misinformation, however, would, or threats and things to this young man because he was involved in a police program. These are normal things. These happen so normal that they get swept under the rug after a murder because the murderer just gets arrested and sentenced. These guys are crying in court. They're part of gangs. You know, you're crying in court, but you're part of a gang. That's not normal, because more than likely you've ran down on many enemies just to prove yourself. Why are they crying in this case? Were they not going to cry because they were even attacking a child? Misinformation led to the end of this young boy. And it doesn't start or stop at the store. It's deeper than that. It's more than that. Not even that they were exposed or someone was arrested, because there was like 10 men. Misinformation on this boy's involvement in anything would have easily led to an attack. Even his age, I don't think they even presumed he was 15. They're crying in court because they probably thought he was part of a rival gang, part of something else. It was deeper than that. It was either he was part of a rival gang in their minds, or because his affiliation with authority, and or misinformation. There's always these type of things that lead the outcome of situations in war, situations between conflicting gangs, or any situation we see involving people killing or hurting their own. How many people have lost their life because they thought someone snitched on them, and then it came out not to be true? That's an easy case of misinformation. And the fact he started running when he seen them, it tells me that it was deeper than that. He knew that there was misinformation out on his name, and he ran to try and save his life. It didn't take all these men to commit the act they did. Who set this young boy up? A lot of what I'm going to speak about is going to be investigations into setups. That is the normal way authority handle business, is setups. Because one thing you'll realize, when these authority are out of uniform, they're cowards. Matter of fact, they need a weapon. If there's no weapon, they don't feel safe in life. A lot of these men are cowards behind the scenes. They want their family to be safe. They want everyone they love to be okay, but they still want to jeopardize you. It goes hand in hand. If you want to expose or incriminate or try and violate someone else in uniform or out of uniform, you're going to get it back. That's all. It's cut and dry. But you know how I rock. It's cut and dry. There's no way out of it. You violate me, the violation is going to come back to you some way. All rights reserved.